And I'm back, and I'm back, and I'm back. Last week, I had exams, coursework, midlife crisis. But once again, I am back. Welcome on a Marvel African Asian and One Piece 1042. Solid episode. I feel like it's a bit between, padding it out, extending the minutes of the episode. But it was a solid episode. It wasn't too bad. Let's just go straight into it. Like, comment, please subscribe, tell your friends, let them know, join in. I'd love to hear about it. Please tell me what you think as we dive into the latest episode of One Piece. First up, this episode was mainly concerned about Robin and Brooks. We remember from last episode how they, do a video on it, but last episode they basically had their encounter with Black Maria. Black Maria, she has this mist that makes you hallucinate. Sort of similar to Scarecrow, maybe a Genjutsu, maybe Infinite Tsukuyomi. But it just makes you hallucinate and sees your loved ones. Robin managed to find her way out of this, and in this one we just go through after that. So she questions Brooks, why weren't you affected? And then we delve into Brooks' side of the event. And it's just how he saw his Rumbar Pirates. If you don't know who that is, the Rumbar Pirates were Brooks' first pirate crew. Because remember, Brooks was around since Roger's era. When Brooks was alive, Roger was an up-and-coming pirate. And what happened was, he was on this pirate ship, and crew called the Rumbar Pirates. The original captain was ill, and so he left the crew. He left Brooks in charge. Unfortunately, they encountered, I think it was Moria, and they were all poisoned and they died one by one, leaving Brooks to die as well. The only thing was, Brooks ate I believe it's the soul fruit, if I'm not mistaken. The soul fruit. And so when he died, he was able to come back. So that's, the whole backstory of Brook. And so now he's experiencing the stumbling. What the hell is it? Hallucinations. There we go. Hallucinations. Which are, bringing back his friends. He's performing on a piano. He's singing. They're dancing. It's sort of a bittersweet moment. Think of it as your first ever friendship group. The one that you have been with for the longest amount of time. The one that you initially set off to do things with. Imagine now if they were to, unfortunately, no longer be with us, only for you to hallucinate and they're there. So it seems like, oh yeah, I'm with you guys, I'm with my friends, I'm doing it again. Unfortunately, it's not real. And Brooks, he knows this because deep down, he promised his friends that he would keep moving forward after they died. And so seeing them now is just a reminder, but he's not going to go back. Another thing to realize is when he was still on that ship, because remember, by the time his soul found his body, he was a skeleton, and he stayed there for, I want to guess and say maybe 50 years. He was on that ship for like 50 years, and he kept seeing hallucinations. I don't know why I keep longing out the word hallucination. That's not a word. It's hallucinations. But yeah, she kept seeing visions of people, and so that sort of like gave him a tolerance for that sort of thing. And so he was able to defeat the visions who turned out to be Black Maria's people. And so him and Robin, they proceed to move on because they can't go back, and they realize that the only way to go is to move forward. Black Maria, she is not happy about this. She's impressed, but at the same time, she's not happy. And so she attacks them using a weapon called Wyendu? I think that's how you pronounce it. And the attack is called Sleeve Swing. And so what happens, it's like imagine like a pinwheel on a staff, right? But it's on fire. So when she swings the staff, it causes a big fire to be in the hallway. Now, an interesting thing about this pinwheel thing is I think it ate a fruit. It's ate a fruit because it has like the head of a human, the body of like a small dog, but it's still a staff. So I'm not too sure what it is. I may have to look that up later, come back to you. But yeah, in order to, you know, escape the fire, Robin has to form a spider net using her arms. I've always found Robin's devil fruit interesting, the versatility of it, what she could do with it. And so her just being able to use that to sort of hold on to the ceiling was a very nice touch, very nice. And so she has Brooks in her arms, and because of this, Brooks like, look, I'm gonna be back. And so he leaves his body in the form of his soul, and he, what's the word I'm looking for? He leaves his body and he freezes Vyen though. So now she can't use the fire attack anymore, but he freezed the staff, and you know, you can't set something on fire if it's frozen. Unless you're like Uni. Maybe Ace, I don't know. Again, another nice touch of using Brook's devil fruit. I really liked his devil fruit as well. Question though, is there awakening for this? What would be the awakening of this devil fruit? Could you argue it already is awakened? That's something else to keep in mind. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Black Maria, now she's just dogging Robin at this point. She's just cussing out Robin, saying, look, I got in your friend's head. I made him call you out your name. Sanji's supposed to be the third toughest guy in your crew, and I made him look like a bee. And he's supposed to be the third toughest on your crew? Really, bro? Nah, no way. And she said, there's no way Luffy, considering who his number 3 is, will ever beat Kaido. So it's just Black Maria, you know, bigging up the boss, basically trying to scare them. But at the end of the day, we know it won't last. And so Brooke, she says, you know what? I will handle the small fry. Robin, I'm gonna leave Black Maria to you. You deal with her. I got the small goons, as we call them. And Robin's like, yo, that's fine. And this sets off Black Maria, Robin 1-on-1. Robin starts off, she uses Gigante Flule. That's how she said it, Flule. If you don't say it like that, don't work. And the way she does it is she forms a giant version of herself using the arms. And I don't know how that works. I guess if you think of it as, you ever see like one of those famous collage works where like each piece of the collage is like a moment in time, and when you zoom out it's like a face. I guess it works like that. And so what happens is she forms a giant version of herself with, like, you could almost argue the tails is also arms as well, if you want to call it that anyway. And each one of those arms, they grab onto Maria's legs, because if you know, Maria is a spider hybrid, or I think it's like a thingy. 1 second. So it is a ancient zone type spider, allows her to do the normal zone type things, except her hybrid form is the top half stays human, but the bottom half becomes the actual body as well as the head of a spider. I'm not too sure why that's the case, but knowing Oda, is probably just to keep the boobs of Black Maria. And so, although Robin has the legs in sort of a chokehold position, Maria cuts the giant arms. And this is when we find out that if you hurt the giant version of Robin, it also hurts Robin. Similar to Sanjin from Bleach. If you don't know who Sanjin is, he's just a captain who's Bankai, or not Shikai, release date. 1 second. It's not important. Let's just move on. And so Black Maria, she catches on. She's like, cool. I've also have spikes or barbs on my legs, and each one of them is poisoned. So now you're kind of at a disadvantage. We're going at my pace now. Let's make that perfectly clear. you're going at my pace now. And so that's what we get from the fight. It's going to continue on next episode. So far, it's a very interesting fight. It's obviously the female characters versus the female characters, but it's a good depiction. You know, Black Maria's looking tough, she's looking capable, and yeah, it's a good fight so far. Now we go over to the surface as Shinobu, always forget her name, Shinobu and Momo, they're just below Onigashima, and now they're worrying that if Onigashima falls, it will crush Wano and kill everyone beneath it. And so, while they're pondering what to do, they hear the screams of more meat. And when they look, it's Luffy. Luffy and the crew has, I don't know what the term is, but I think it's re-emerged. They were submerged, now they've re-emerged. I'm not sure if that's 100% correct. But they've surfaced, there we go. And Luffy is just munching as much food as he can, but the crew just don't have enough. They don't have enough meat. But you know how Luffy gets. This guy is a barbarian. And so what happens is, Momo makes his way to Luffy, and as soon as he sees him, he cries. He cries and cries and cries. Because remember, Momo's like 5 or 6. He's just seen his father figure and the people who he's looked up to possibly die right in front of him. So he's not handling that too well, unfortunately. You remember, he's still young. But Luffy, he said, look, you're the leader. You're the commander-in-chief. You can't be crying right now. We're still at war. So let me tell you something, right? When we find more food and I eat that food and my belly's good, we're going back up. So I'm gonna need you to transform back into a dragon and get ready, cause we're going back up to face Kaido. So the crew, they go out to find food, and lo and behold, Caribou, you know, the guy with the like mud fruit, he shows up. He says, look, I've stolen all this food, take it. And it's not because he's being nice, it's just because he doesn't be left to the devices of whoever finds him. So yeah, that's where the episode ends. Again, it's a solid episode, mostly padding. I feel like they could have done a bit more. I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10. But you know, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.